Hi, okay. I'm Riley Block. I'm currently student teaching at Baltic Middle School. I work with Mrs. Pittman. She is a math teacher. We teach math to 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th grade. Our school runs on a block schedule, and our class sizes are usually about 16 to 27 students. Our smallest class size is the 6th graders. That we have 4th block, and we only see 3 days of the week. So they kind of do theirs differently. So they run blocks. So we see the 6th graders Mondays, Wednesdays, and then on Fridays, instead of doing blocks, they do what they call skinnies, which is more like periods, so that everybody gets to see everybody on Friday. So then they split them all in half, and so then instead of having 4 blocks, they have 8 periods. And then so that we get to see all of our grades on Fridays. We start with freshmen, and they're on blocks as well, and they alternate. So we see a different group of freshmen on Monday, Wednesday than we do on Thursday, Friday. Same with our 7th and 8th. However, for 7th and 8th, they decided that block scheduling didn't work very well because it's hard to see them every other day. So they split those into skinnies. So they switch. So it's still like block 2 and block 3. But halfway through the block, we switch with the social studies teacher and get them halfway through so that they see them every day. Class dynamic and school dynamic. It's a really small school. Everybody's pretty close knit. My teacher is really good friends with a lot of their parents. In fact, like they all celebrate the Super Bowl together and other holidays together. And so they often like make jokes about like, well, your mom said I could do this, and your mom told me that you stayed up all night instead of doing your homework and stuff like that. Because they're close knit, all the kids know each other, all the teachers know each other, so that's kind of cool. And then like communication there is a little bit better. They don't usually like have problems with like parents showing up for conferences or IEP meetings or anything like that because it's a pretty small school. Everybody knows everybody. What else? For our 6th graders, we're currently working on we just started one-step equations, like adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing one variable equations. 7th graders are working 2-step equations. 8th graders just started Pythagorean theorem. 9th graders are working on solving systems of equations. I've had a chance to solo teach a couple times for different class periods. Tomorrow I'm teaching a little bit in the morning, as my teacher will be gone, and we'll have a sub, so I'll do the teaching while she's absent. Recently we got a new student from Mexico, and he and his siblings don't speak any English, and so that was different for this school. I've noticed that like in Sioux Falls, if that were to happen, it's not a huge deal because they have like extensive immersion programs and stuff to deal with that, but that's not necessarily the case for this school, and so it left a lot of the teachers frazzled and not sure how to approach that situation. And I took 4 years of high school Spanish and a year in college, so I have a good deal of like conversational Spanish. And so I've been working with him a little bit one-on-one, just trying to like translate some of the math lessons to him and just trying to teach him general English so that he can operate throughout the day. It's still really hard. He still doesn't know a lot of what's saying or what's going on, but we're trying. As far as instructional management, like questions or worries, I guess like one that I would have or that I worry about or like have a question for is like what, like as a student teacher, like what do you do about those one students that just like refuse to open up to you or like want you, they just want the teacher? Because like I have a specific student who will raise his hand, but if he sees me coming, puts his hand down and will wait until my mentor teacher is available. Another thing is like how do you teach and then like discipline somebody who you can't communicate with? For example, like our 8th grade student who doesn't speak any English. Like I can communicate with him, but my teacher cannot. So how is she expected to like discipline him? Luckily, he doesn't cause any problems, but if he were to, how would you approach that? Another thing that surprised me about this school is like they don't have ISS. Like growing up when I was in middle school, if you were disruptants in class, you'd get sent to ISS for that class period. Time to cool down, you'd lose your participation points for the day, you'd have to make up your homework, and then you could try again like your next period depending on how your attitude was. They don't have ISS, and from the most part what I've noticed is we don't really have any like large like discipline issues or behavior issues. So maybe that's why they don't have it, they don't need it. But I just wonder, like, if they were to have a lot of problems, like, how they would handle it that way. Or if you guys have any recommendations. Is ISS not the way to go anymore? Is it? Another thing is, like, when you start teaching or when you're trying to gain respect from your students, like, whether it's your first year or a new classroom, how strict do you have to be? Like, you've always obviously heard this saying, like, you have to start out strict and then you can ease up, but you can't ease up or start out, like, loose and then get stricter. So I just wonder, like, how strict and how, like, enforceful you have to be at the beginning. And then just overall, like, how do you gauge what your students can and cannot handle responsibility-wise and behavior-wise? I think that's it. I hope I covered everything.